Hello everyone, welcome to another video. This is the Felfar Gaze channel where we discuss everything about demon hunters in World of Warcraft. Today I bring you a commentary video of a Brackenhide Hollow plus 25. This is a pretty high mythic plus key and it was executed pretty smoothly. You will see me playing the Spread Eagle build, the most common build for fortified and high target count dungeons such as Brackenhide, which will help us pad the meters and clear the dungeon as fast as possible. Please let me know in the comments whether you like such type of commentary gameplay videos so I can continue providing this for you, or maybe you would like me to pivot to a different kind of content that you would be more interested to watch. So without further ado, let's get into the video. In the open of this dungeon, we normally pull a lot of trash. We have all cooldowns, we bloodlust pot and go for a huge pull. This is a really dangerous pull for Havoc. A lot of cleave damage from the mobs, there is the traps from the hunters, they do random physical damage, the raid storms from the warrior mobs, there is so much that can kill you. The fixate from the other mobs, so it's really dangerous. Havoc does really good damage here because of untargeted AoE with Immolation Aura and Inner Demon. You pop every button, you use the hand, you use the Inner Demon procs, you Immolation Aura again, and generally you're doing pretty good damage. You drop the fear as well to stop some mechanics, but there is too much going on. Here you see I get fixated by a shade, I'm 1 second too slow, I get hit by the shade and getting comboed by a second ability and I die. And ironically, this is one of the few mistakes that were done throughout the dungeon, and it happened in the first, I don't know, 30 seconds of the dungeon, the first pull. So yeah, it is what it is. Moving on here, we're trying to clean up the pool. There is still the raid storms, there is the traps from the hunters. You need to dance a little bit around. It's a very uncomfort situation for any melee to be, because you cannot do much unless you have like something like acrobatic strikes or the feral ranged attacks. But it is what it is. We managed here pretty good. Our damage was good overall. I could do way more if I didn't die. Moving on, there is a, let's say, recovery pool. We only pull 5 mobs, we have no cooldowns, we need to rest, and we just keep doing damage. You see the fighter is trying to fixate someone. I put him on focus, so whenever he tries to fixate, I wanna imprison and interrupt that. Other than that, there's nothing too special here. Any abilities send off cooldown, and we try to do as much damage as possible. So these blood frenzy things do the cleave, and you don't have to be in front of the mobs, they just do the cleave. Here you see I target the fighter and I cage him. When he casts the fixate on one of my teammates, I cage it immediately to stop the fixation from happening. In this spot it's unfortunate we have to clear the shades to drop combat to open the cages, but yeah, this wastes some seconds from the timer. Other than that, one person is left behind to open the key. Shadow Priest is probably not the best one to do that, and we move on. Here these DK speakers, you gotta kick these guys. I put the War Scout on focus because I know he might cast the fears and I have to interrupt that at all cost. So I'm focusing down the DK speaker while having the War Scout on focus. Now here you see I kick the fear. This is an insta wipe most of the times, like the whole group is feared unless there is something to break the fear, people die and so on. Other than that, we manage this pull pretty well. Yeah, there is the fear from the priest interrupting the fixate, there is another shade on me, there is the raid storm. In general, this part of the dungeon is very annoying for Havoc. Lots of things can kill you. You don't have the opportunity to do the most damage because you cannot stay in for as long as you want to have the emulation or a pop and do damage and stuff. Now you see here I don't send I-beam, I don't send anything. I have every cooldown and I save them for a new pool where I can pop off and really be effective rather than trying to pad the meters on these dead mobs. So I'm gonna save them even more because I see that my tank is going for a double. This will take some time. I popped my small buttons, and now when we all connect here, I pop every single button. You see, it's the DPS trinket, I-beam, inner demon, essence break, death sweep, meta death sweep, another inner demon, I-beam, and another inner demon. So this is a lot of burst, as you see right here. I got my demon proc a little bit late, and it would have made a massive difference. Here you see I get hit by the cleave. It's not a frontal, you just have to stay away from the mobs. Here I made a mistake. If you noticed, I was away as my rage fire was expiring. I was like hitting only 2 mobs maybe. That's a big mistake. Rage fire is a big part of spread eagle damage profile, and you should play around that. I could easily play around that, so that's a mistake on my part. Other than that, as I said, this is going pretty smoothly. Clean up the sage, open the cage, and move on. We keep fighting the same mobs at this stage, and the idea is always the same. Dodge the frontals, dodge the AoEs, kick some casts, try to do damage. If you honestly can just survive this part, you are good, because this is not where you're gonna shine. So as said earlier, I try to send every button before I-beam, so they are, let's say, cooling down while I'm doing the essence break combo. So you see I send the Immolation Aura, I send the Sigil of Flame, the Glaive Tempest, and the Chaos Nova sometimes, and these things are cooling down and they're all back. Now that I'm back from I-beam, from Demonic, I used the Essence Break combo and I have everything back to use it once more. Now here we're not doing the best job with interrupts. I send the Fear because that's all I have at the moment. There's one more Blade Dance. I will probably send the I-beam here. I'm not sure. Yeah, there are some mobs that have a lot of HP, so I decide to send it. It's pretty often the case that in such situations you wanna save the I-beam to start the next pool really strong. You don't wanna spend all your resources on a pool that is already dying and it's not posing a threat to your group anymore. You might speed up the key a little bit and pad the meters a little bit, but that's not the way to time a dungeon most of the times. Sometimes if you get at really high keys, the timer is so tight that you have to just send everything on cooldown. But taking into consideration that having cooldowns or at least something, maybe an I-beam at the beginning of a pool, makes it significantly less dangerous. So you see here I hunted one mob and then I fell rushed through the entire group, and this spread the fell rush. Oh my god, it spread the hunt to all the other mobs. Okay, even though I did not travel through them with the hunt during the animation, I moved through them after and it spread the hunt to them, and that's super important to abuse because hunt does pretty good AoE damage. Here I was focusing a lot on my damage, I was popping meta and going hard, so I missed some interrupts. I do the Chaos Nova here, which is good. Generally I've been spending everything on cooldown. There's another shade. I learned my lesson, I hope. I'm kind of scared from before. I wanna go and open the cage, but we're still in combat, so it's pretty useless at the moment. I need to get back, kill the mobs. Yeah. Will I send the I-beam here? I think I do. Yeah, it's correct, because we still have to open the cage and clear the shades. So it's a lot of time until I get to use I-beam again, so I will probably have it back. So it's a good call here. It speeds up the dungeon and it helps us clear the pack. You see us now just clearing up the shades, opening the cage, and we're getting ready for the first boss. Now this is a fortified week, but it's still a 25, so the bosses can hit pretty hard. You have to respect mechanics. Here you see I will put the caster on focus, so I can focus kick his interrupts, his spells, and I put a marker on Gastooth to indicate that he's the one that should die first. Most people know this by now, but yeah, why not? So this first ability of Gas Shoot normally hits 4 tons, but since it's fortified it's not too bad. So I send everything here. I get targeted by the single target ability, and I use darkness because I had no blur here to protect myself. I get fixated by gas now and it hits 4 tons. So you have to pop something. I only have darkness, so I used it as a personal, let's say. We try to keep interrupting. One cast goes through. The next one is kicked by the evoker. I have a cast I'm trying to kick now. He summons the totem. You gotta focus the totem. I purge the debuff. The one that puts blind on the tank. I see that they get the hot. I purge it. So that's good. Both abilities are resolved at this stage. Gastooth just jumps around and is annoying, like always. Here this was a terrible fell rush. I lost my rage fire. It exploded on the wall, which is totally useless. Here I don't kick. I miss a second kick. And the third kick. Maybe I kick now. Okay, finally I kicked. I was losing at my cooldowns because everything is coming back. Do I use the DPS spot here? I have not used the DPS spot here. That's still suboptimal, to say the least. Yeah, so I won't use this DPS potion here. It looks like it. I send every other button. Do I send the Sarkar trinket? Probably. I have no kick here, so some casts are going through. But this part of the dungeon is not super scary. Here you see I did a Vengeful Retreat, and it made my Rage Fire hit both targets because I was jumping through them. So that was a fine Rage Fire and Vengeful Retreat. And if you notice, right after I cast the Sarkar trinket, and that's because with Vengeful Retreat you get the initiative buff, so that's another 12% critical strike, and you cast the Sarkar trinket with an extra 12% critical strike. And I also had the demon buff up, so it hit for a lot. It's good to try to line up all the buffs as a Havoc to hit massive damage with the Sarkar trinket. Now at this stage, if you're still watching, I hope you're probably enjoying this run, so consider dropping down a like and maybe even subscribe to the channel if you wanna see more. Here we go for a huge pull. I start with a Chaos Nova to control. There's another Shockwave. I dropped my fear. I used my DPS potion and Immolation Aura with Rage Fire. I did huge AoE, even though I have no metamorphosis. There's the possibility to do really huge AoE as Havoc, especially at this part of the dungeon where we're pulling so many targets, and these targets are summoning little creatures, let's say, little lasses or whatever. Here I make sure I jump in with the hand and Felras so that I'm inside the pack at the end of Immolation Aura. So I make sure that Rage Fire explodes on the mobs and hits for tons of damage. Here I'm fixated by another Shade. Do I get hit? I move in to do AoE. Yeah, I managed to dodge it for a while. It's dead now. So we keep hitting. We kick the breath. There's not too many casts to kick here. Now here I get shot by the Shade. I Chaos Nova, I jump a little bit in and out of melee range. It's annoying. These stomps and some decay stuff on the ground makes it a little bit annoyed to navigate this area, but we have tons of mobility, so we can jump in and out and maintain momentum. And yeah, as I said earlier, there are tons of mobs here, and the Immolation Aura ticks on all of them, so we do huge damage. Here I have every button back, so I'm gonna send the trinket, send the eye beam, inner demons, essence break, death sweep meta, death sweep, inner demon, eye beam, and another inner demon. In between I send the glaive tempest and the Immolation Aura because they were off cooldown. Here I make sure I hit everything with Immolation Aura. Now you see I do what I did before. I jump out because of the explosion with Vengeful Retreat. Yeah, I should have sent the Sarkareth Trinket here, but there is another thing to consider with Sarkareth Trinket. It does damage to 5 targets and then it splits the damage on the rest of the targets. So if there is too many small adds and stuff, your damage will be generally wasted because it will split on the small little critter adds that are not threatening at all. It will not hit the main targets, and you will be able to cleave these adds with Immolation Aura anyway. You don't have to spend your big cooldowns like Sarkareth Trinket to kill them. So it's a good idea to have 5 big targets when you hit with Sarkareth Trinket and not use it on tons of small critters. That's kind of inefficient. Yeah, here we have another pool. This is a smaller pool. We don't have too many cooldowns. Actually, I have nothing, but our tank keeps going and going and going. I love this warrior. He was pulling super aggressively and it actually paid off because we were able to time the dungeon. But yeah, he put a little bit of pressure on us, let's say. Here at Darkness, because I realize we have no cooldowns, this is a big pool. You kick the Necrotic Breath wherever you can. Here, Rage Fire hits on everything, so I keep doing lots of damage. And that's because I'm hitting like so many targets. You cannot see their health bars because I tend to hide the health bars of minor creatures because they clutter the screen and I don't want that. So you don't really see how many targets I'm hitting here. It looks like there are 5 targets, but there are probably 10 or more at least because it's small stupid targets that we are cleaving down. The run up to now has been pretty smooth. If you see, we only have 1 death. It's that 1 death at the very beginning of the dungeon where I got clipped by the shade in the very first pool. Other than that, this part is considered hard because there is tons of damage going on, but it's, in my opinion, not so risky because there are not so many casts that can one-shot your group and stuff. You just keep going and going. There is a lot of rot damage that your healer has to sustain, and you keep pumping cooldowns one after another. Here we gain the double oak. This is a big pool again. I have every button. I'm gonna send it. The good question is, am I sending the DPS caution? Yes, I am. I keep forgetting about it. Here he does the stomp. I hit the essence break from outside. I do backflip to get the initiative and meta inside to do the second death sweep, so I can have both death sweeps within my essence break window. I keep sending everything. I send the fear, I send the backflip. Do I send the trinket? Yeah, so you see I have every button. I had the demon buff, I had momentum, initiative, and the Sigil of Misery, the Misery in Defeat, extra 20% damage was also on all targets. So this is the maximum damage you can do with Sarkareth Trinket, and it hits for a lot. It definitely did spread to some targets that are secondary, to say the least, but still, it's a lot of damage. It was sent on cooldown, it's worth. I get hit by something here, I'm not sure what it was, and I health pot immediately. And I got hit again, and maybe it was the Shade the second time. It's chasing me down. I try to kite it and throw glaive it and stay in melee range for my Immolation Aura to do the big damage. I try to put use everything on cooldown, but yeah, this area has a lot of area denial. It keeps forcing you outside of melee range for various reasons. But it is what it is, like that's the downside of playing melee DPS. Yeah. So this is the last pack we're gonna do for now. I send the hand. I'm not super confident that I should have done that. Perhaps I should send it on the boss to get the leads as well, and there is more targets here. Anyway, we start AoEing here. It was a good chain pull from our tank because we would be single targeting for a while Now we're doing AoE and the extra AoE comes and we have a lot of targets. Now I have Immolation Aura rolling and the tank used the shockwave, so I think I should be saving the Chaos Nova and Fear for next waves of ads, and that's a correct decision. Here we break the consume, I have Immolation, or he will summon both sets of ads, so here I step in, I have to AoE stop these mobs if they cast. They don't cast for some reason. They cast super late, I don't even use a Chaos Nova, the frontal is on me, I was a little bit slow but finally I took it away from the group. So here I cast Nova, you see, to stop it. I don't have any AoE at the moment. Do I send the Sigil of Misery? No, I don't have to. So I save it, I have a meta. Perhaps I should have waited a little bit to AoE with this meta, but it's not like super important. That's a nice I-beam because I was forced outside of melee range. Now here the tank, shockwaves, I send the Sarkar trinket. Yeah, this is a good one. I had every buff again, you see. Momentum, the buff from the demon, initiative, so it hits for tons. Here I have my Chaos Nova again, I stop this wave of ads. I have some AoE. Glaive Tempest helps a lot with this ads, clears them really nicely. Now I have another I-beam. Do I send it? Do I save it? I will probably send it because the boss is kind of dead. And yeah, even the next set of ads it's kind of ignore. He does the grasping thing, so he will shield. Or maybe we all stay outside, the boss doesn't get a shield, and we just kill it. Yeah, that's what happens. That's really good execution overall. I really enjoy doing these commentaries because it gets me the opportunity to see my mistakes as well, so I can learn from them because I do make a lot of mistakes and you can learn from mistakes and successes. So here I tell them that I can shadow melt this mob, the priest will fade and just go through, so I will pull this guy, the other people will jump, I will kite him, this gets pretty close, I could use Blair here, and here I go, I shadow melt and I spell rush, so I drop combat and then I move out, and while he's running back I'm able to just escape. So this is a cool nice trick that you can do as a night elf. There are other dungeons that can utilize this shadow melt tricks, let's say. So it's a pretty good idea to be a night elf. It's a pretty big boon to have the shadow melt as a demon hunter because you are squishy, you can do cool stuff with it and you can survive. Now this next part of the dungeon I remember. Our tank was pulling the bears and the birds into the boss. It's a typical pull, but I remember that we were about to do like big AoE and I had no cooldowns. You see, meta is on 20 seconds, so I should either wait or just send I-beam. At this stage I did not know how to do. Meanwhile, priest popped PI, popped everything. If you see him on the meters, he's rising, and I'm like 6, 5, 4, my cooldowns are back, they're here, everything's dead. So yeah, I popped the cooldowns with no adds to AoE. It's also annoying that I have to dance around the traps, but yeah, it is what it is. So this boss melted. Actually our priest popped so hard, he had every button. I got targeted by the fixate, I got bopped, so I don't care, I sit here in the middle, I tank the mobs. I was a little bit too scared, I think, this pull. I could have been moving and DPSing a little bit more aggressively, but it doesn't matter, the priest totally carried this specific boss fight. He had so many targets to ramp off, and the boss is practically dead. Like, it's another I-beam, I send it, I could perhaps even save it, that would be a little bit extreme. The demon procced right I was doing the I-beam, so yeah, I dropped the last trap next to the hyenas and we just killed the boss. This went so smooth because of the priest pampage. And yeah, we were laughing in the chat at this stage, and this is a demonstration of how DPS makes fights easier. Like, it is what it is, you know. People want to play meta classes most of the time because it makes it easier. You know, you don't have to dodge every mechanic so many times. You can be average player, you don't have to be pro and dodge absolutely everything, and everything goes smoother. Okay, so that's a clear demonstration. I focus kick here, the collar. The collar is one of the most dangerous mobs. He keeps casting and casting, the field collar. And yeah, you try to interrupt him as soon as possible. I interrupt him again. My interrupt was on a shorter cooldown, on an 11-second cooldown, due to the evoker. This is a rather scary pool. The Vile Rot Hexers, they get this buff on them. You see, it's like a plus 5% damage. You gotta purge it. I did purge it. Super important to do. You kick the fears on the War Scouts. It's the same mobs, but some of the mobs of Brackenhide are super powerful. Our tank did a pretty good job trying to not have to pull a lot of mobs here because we did a lot of mobs on Treemouth, so we covered most of our percentage there. We do some mobs here, so now you see there are a lot of buffs buffing these mobs. I will try to purge one here. My priest dies by the decay spell. He gets rest. I purged something and I remember I was super scared here. I was trying not to spread this thing to my tank. I survived by an accident and I told him, please throw a mass dispel in there. These things keep vomiting and I cannot purge them all by myself, and he did. So here I did another small mistake. I did my combo without my trinket. I popped it a little bit after. You see, I just popped the Halls of Infusion trinket. I did most of my eye beam and stuff with no trinket active, so that's a DPS loss. Yeah, here I was super scared to move overall. There's the decay circles, there's the rage storms, and I was not really utilizing momentum. I could try to do so, but the benefit is not worth the risk at this stage. Like, we had a pretty smooth run. I don't wanna jinx it. We have 2 combat races just because I wanna do 8% more damage. It's a weird spot to be in. You just relax, stay back, and play without momentum most of the time, unless you can totally control it. But I was targeted by the decay circles more often than not, so yeah, I played it safe, let's say, and I think it was a good call. Now here we do another scary pull. I overlapped my kick with my priest there. That's a little bit unfortunate. I do here a vengeful retreat into the Sarkareth trinket, and I said every damage I have. Yeah. So I missed some targets with Rage Fire. That's not the best idea ever. Here I put the Filth Collar on focus again because I know I have to kick it. Someone else kicked the Fear, so I kept killing the Filth Collar. Filth Collar was pretty low, so there's no point focusing it down. You focus the higher HP mode. Here I throw a glaive to slow down the shade, but I was a little bit unlucky. I got stuck on the rock, but the shade did not get me. I throw a Chaos Nova in the beginning to stabilize the pool. There is a Rage Storm again. This part makes things even harder for me because we cannot soothe that, and this denies even more space than the other spells. And there are the cleaves, the AoE damage that these mobs do around them, and as a melee you are vulnerable to it. But overall we managed, that's the point. One major mistake is if there is too much stuff going on, just forget about momentum. Just keep casting your spells on cooldown, pretend you don't have momentum, just use Vengeful Retreat into Fellblade in order to not really move. And that's that. You don't have to push it too much. Here are priest dies. I don't remember how. Maybe a shade, maybe a debuff from the last mob. I'm not sure. But generally speaking, we have 6 minutes. We need this mob, this Vile Rot Hexer, and then we're good to go to the boss. It's a fortified week, not a tyrannical week, so we're looking solid here. We don't wanna play too risky or something. We just focus, we kill the boss, and we're good. So do I send the hunt here? I don't remember. Generally speaking, the hunt is a really nice tool for killing totems in the boss. So yeah, I sent the hunt. I was like, okay, I can get another 3 uses of the hunt throughout the fight. We have like 5 minutes 30, so I might as well send this one. I realized I have the Sarkar trinket coming up, which is also a good source of burst damage for totem destruction, let's say. So I was confident that I will have this first and I can wait for the hunt to come up later, so I could spend the hunt on the ad. Moving on, we have a shade. I slow the shade, but yeah, we're pretty chilling like here. I can pop every single button. I get a demon, but I will realize that I can cleave it without throw glaive. There's no need. Actually, my first throw glaive missed, and I said, okay, there is no problem. Here, for this totem, I don't really need to pop anything. I have my potion, DPS potion is still up. I have an inner demon proc. I had the glaive tempest, so I'm pretty confident that I can deal with this totem. Okay, so here you will see how Demon Hunter really carries this fight, because we have so many small burst cooldowns. Here I was not sure whether I should send the Sarkar trinket, but my priest told me I have no burst, I have nothing. I was like, sure, I can send it here. And now you will watch, from now on I will start saving cooldowns for totems. Like, I have the hand, I'm not gonna send it. I will keep it for a while actually. Here I save Glaive Tempest, as you might see. Okay. So here I kill the demon, I rush in, Glaive Tempest, I-beam, Essence Break, and destroy the totem. You see I'm still holding the hand, right? Perhaps I'm losing a cast, it's possible, but I don't care, because my job here is to kill the totems, and actually I'm hitting 2 targets while I'm hitting the totem. So here I hand the totem, and then I Glaive Tempest, and we kill it, you see, here. The hand is probably enough most of the time to kill a totem. So if you remember, I had the I-beam for the last one, but then there is a gap and I don't have anything for the next one. So I had the hand for it, and now I'm pretty confident because I know I have I-beam. The next one is covered. So let's say you have I-beam every second totem, and then you need something in between. So in between the previous two I used the hand. Before that, the first I-beam I used the Sarkar trinket. But now I know there's a totem coming, I have no I-beam, no hand, no Sarkar trinket. This will probably be a totem that goes off. So I darkness. We know that. So with darkness we know we're gonna take extra damage. I communicate that on my priest on Discord. So we took 1 stack. It's not ideal, it is what it is. Okay, we're still going. We're pretty good on timer. We just need to make sure we keep killing totems. There's another I-beam, I have another I-beam, so I'm ready. I'm saying, okay, we're covered. This one is good. I got it. So I send the I-beam and I easily kill the totem here. I-beam with Essence Break, of course, always, right? And now there is the hunt in 10 seconds. So I'm pretty happy. I'm saying, probably I can hunt the next one, it will be enough. I know we have a stack, so that means minus 5% damage. I send the hand immediately, and here the evoker notices Bloodlust is back, and he sends the Bloodlust, and it makes it even easier. I think we would kill it without Bloodlust as well, but yeah, even the tank notices, he says insane Bloodlust. Okay, so that was a good one. Now I have every cooldown back. I don't want to delay. The boss is dead. I send the cooldowns. There is another totem. I go there, I send the Essence Break and double Death Sweep, and that's it. Okay. So I had the Sarkar trinket for the next one, and then an I-beam for the one after that. So you see, Havoc can really carry this fight. It's super good. Shadow Priest is not good at bursting totems, but Havoc is. So we lined up pretty good together. If you're still here, thanks a lot for staying throughout the entire video. I really hope I was able to provide some value for you. And if that's the case and you would like to see more of me, please consider supporting me, liking the video, and maybe subscribing to the channel. If you have some feedback, some ideas for the channel, go ahead and post it in the comments. I will reply to that and take it into consideration for my future videos. Thanks a lot again for watching, and seeing you in the next one.